What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right in this weird formation we're in, Rachel Mogan.
Hello.
And to my left around the table here, Zac Ricard.
Hey.
And we're also joined by our special guest, Glenda Jordan. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Glenda.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to be here.
In case you did not know, Team Chat Podcast is a video game podcast where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do that by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube and iTunes channels. If you want to support the show, you can do that as well by going to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we'll give you a cool perk like getting the episode early before its general Tuesday release. If you want to check that out again, that is patreon.com/teamchatpodcast.
Say the whole thing again.
Boom, done.
Just say it again.
Knock that thing out quick because I know we got a
Beautiful.
big topic coming up today.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, but before we get to it, we do have the song contest from this week.
Did you listen to the song?
Yes. I
Wait,
guessed.
Did you know what the song was? Have any idea?
No.
I mean, you guessed the game, but
I got it right?
no. Oh, no, sorry. Like, you gave us a guess.
Jackasses.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You
I-
gave us a guess.
I did give a guess.
Yeah, you gave
It
us
was
a
a good guess.
Because the hint was
Something about preparing.
volleyballs.
Pick
and-
your fighters and then prepare for one hell of a game
Yes.
of volleyball, something
yeah,
like that.
which is perfectly in line with Dead or Alive
It
Extreme
technically
Beach
is.
Volleyball.
I'm afraid you were not correct, good
I
sir.
was going to say
who
that
was
song doesn't
correct
sound
then,
like it's
Mogan?
from.
So Bro Mogan got
Bro
it
Mogan
right.
striking again.
You guys are just like passing the baton back and forth. Super legal, I guess.
It's nepotism,
It's a family
okay?
affair.
It's a bunch of
Fine.
collusion is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what
So
it is.
anyways, the song was High School Love from Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Specifically,
My reaction is
the
the same.
only version for Wii U because they ported it right.
Give me a break. Foul. Error.
So the story behind that hysterical song is that way a long time ago, I think in the original Tekken 3, they introduced a new alternate game version called Tekken Ball, which was
Okay.
basically volleyball. Like you would have your fighters and you would just be basically fighting this ball back and forth. And then they brought that game version back in Tekken Tag 2, but only for the version for Wii U.
That's crazy.
They left it
It's
out
very
of the
specific.
ones. Yeah, they left it out of the ones for the other ones. And so, like, Andrew and I, we got the game for a Wii U. It was actually one of the launch titles that came out when the Wii U launched. And we were like, oh my God, we get to play Tekken Tag. This is so great. We played the game normally and then got to Tekken Ball. And, you start it and you're playing the game and you're like, this is some upbeat music going on here. And then you actually, like, pause and listen to it and you're like, are they talking
bizarre.
about hamburgers
Was it
and
like
fries?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Mogan sent me the link for it, and I was playing the song, and the song started, and I saw it was like Tekken Tag, and I'm like, okay, because I, like you, thought it was Dead or Alive.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, but when
Feels
she
like
was
a good
like,
guess.
it's not what you think it is,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so it's not Dead or Alive. But I was very much, I was confused by it. So I pulled it up, and was like, oh, it's Tekken. Okay. And then it starts with this, like, poppy song,
Yeah.
and I literally
Oh
I
my
texted
God.
Mogan immediately. First
this
5
right?
seconds of the song, I
Yeah.
texted her and was like, the fuck is this song?
It was the sleeper hit that no one saw coming.
right.
I
And
guess, but-
man, once you get into it, it makes that game version exponentially better because it's ridiculous. The game is ridiculous. Everything came together.
Everything is
Yeah.
in a beautiful, beautiful mesh.
Awesome. Well, yeah, totally off the wall pick. So it was a good one for sure. But stick around to the end of the episode when Bro Mogan will be giving us a hint for this week's episode. All right, all that business is done. So now a quick thing as to why we're all rearranged so differently is because this episode is going to be a very Mogan, Zac, and Glenda heavy episode. Because they're going to be doing
sound
a
of the
part
police.
2. A part 2 follow-up. Now that they've all three completed the game, they're going to be doing like another follow-up review-esque type thing for, similar to
Call
what
it whatever you want.
Similar to what I did for Horizon Zero Dawn last
Yeah.
week, where we're going to go really in-depth into the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's right.
So spoilers.
So yes,
Spoilers.
good
Many
lord.
spoilers.
So, turn away if you're worried about spoilers. But anyway, but before we get into all that, Glenda, tell us about yourself.
Who are you?
Tell us your life story.
Yeah.
I know Mogan from, we were weird friends in high school.
Very
'Cause we were
weird.
weird people
And
and are
very
very like
friends.
our high school experience. Anyway,
The Bible kids didn't
then
like us.
we were college roommates, which was a super fun experience. And then after I graduated, I moved to Vegas to join the circus, essentially.
Cool.
And I kind of did. And I'm a huge gamer. I started playing Super Nintendo at my grandma's house. Played Super Mario World. It was the first video game I ever played.
Nice.
And then it was like transformational moment of my life. The first time I saw Ocarina of Time. I even remember the friend's name, and he wasn't even my friend. He was my brother's friend. Matthew Hobson was his name. And he had brought his N64 and played Ocarina of Time. And I remember sitting on the couch and like... life-changing. Okay. And then whenever I would go to bed, that's when I would game all night because I'm a night owl. Why this job suits me well. So I work full-time as a go-go dancer and model and jack of all trades, Jill of all trades kind of thing. I make art sometimes and other stuff. But yeah, like gaming is a super,
big
super,
deal.
super big important part of my life. Like major part of my life. I have Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Wii, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox 360,
Wow.
PlayStation,
Damn.
PlayStation 2,
Wow.
Nintendo DS.
Oh, not the 4?
That's Switch, right?
No PS4?
No PS4 love?
No, I want one, but of the next consoles, the Switch was the one that I got, and I
Yeah.
eventually will
Exactly.
get.
I can understand that.
PS4.
Yep.
I will. No, I'll have all of them eventually. Like that's not even a question. Like, but I do. I'm okay. Like Mogan, I like getting games kind of after the fact, cheaper, and that's just how I play. Like I literally it was this year where I played Assassin's Creed for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Not
really?
Assassin's 1. I played Assassin's Creed 2 because I'd already seen 1 played through and 2 was like the better version of 1.
2's the best one of the series, so I mean, there you
Right.
go.
Okay, so I played through that. I'm like, this is a really great game. Like, I really like this game. Like, that was this year that I did that.
Nice.
So,
Assassin's
yeah.
Creed 2 came out,
and-
what, 2000?
And I have that, like, we really like these weird, obscure games together. Not to sound like a hipster, but we
But we totally
have
do.
that.
Yeah.
Like Patapon. Did y'all ever play Patapon for PSP?
I think I have Patapon 3, I think, for the Vita, but I haven't played it yet.
I remember
Okay.
like seeing it on
I only
PSP for
played
the
it
first
on
time.
PSP. And I never beat it. I just loved the game
Yeah.
when I played it.
And of course,
Example of like a really obscure game that I think was really beautiful and amazing and underappreciated, and nobody really knows about that game. So I happen to like Myst a lot.
Oh.
well, you can be the
Referencing
only
back to an
one
older
good lady.
episode.
You can go to that island all by yourself, wander
And
around
get
on your
trapped in the
own.
I remember a friend of mine had Myst when I was growing up, and I remember them playing it, and I was still young enough where I wasn't like I wasn't super into like the really complicated games yet. Like I still liked the the simpler things. in
Yeah.
life.
And Myst ain't simple.
And Myst ain't simple.
Hey, let
and
me
I
tell you
remember trying to
something.
play it a little bit because I was like, oh, this looks fun.
Yeah.
And then I tried to play it, and I was like, no,
game
I,
sucks.
No.
I don't want this. Let's go back to
There,
Mario.
I had a strategy guide, but I got it at the Scholastic Book Fair
Oh.
at my elementary school.
There you
Wow.
go. So educational
Yes,
then.
that's where I got it. I think that was actually the first PC game I ever bought on my own. I think. Pretty sure. I had like Barbie Magic Hairstyler, but I didn't buy that game.
An excellent game.
I think my sister had that game, actually. My sister had a couple Barbie games.
I liked
And
the,
like Lego Island, that's a weird PC game. I don't know if y'all ever played
What's it
Lego
called?
Island.
No,
like
Lego
the one
Island?
First in the
Oh,
Lego.
Lego
So the
Island.
Lego series is actually a great series of video
Yeah.
games. I mean, those games are very fun, and that
Yeah.
was like the first PC game that they ever made. There was Lego Chess and Lego Island.
Lego Island, I played the shit out of. I didn't have it because my
okay,
friend
right.
because my friend had it on a PC. I didn't have a PC growing up.
Yeah.
I had Mac all the time, and so it didn't come out for that. And so whenever I went over to my buddy's house, like that is what we played was Lego Island.
Lego Island.
Oh, it was so fun because it
Huh.
had like you could build a car, you could drive around, it
Oh,
had
yeah.
like some racing stuff
Yeah.
in it, and other just
And
random
like
activities.
do you remember the like that weird skateboard track that was like underground? It was like the neon rave kind of like
I
the
think so.
skeleton door opening, and
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
yeah, it was okay, yeah, I remember that. And then the pizza burglar, like you had to like
Yes.
throw pizzas out of him.
What?
I do remember that. And you like chase him down as a cop and all this other stuff. It was
Yes.
fun.
That
It
does
was
sound
so fun. Yeah, that
It's
was
a
pretty good one.
helicopter.
Oh yeah.
that you built.
That franchise has lasted a long time.
I know, and now they've got the what is it? Lego Worlds now. I think is the one that's out now. That's
One came
like,
out
it's
for
like
Switch.
Yeah,
What's the one? Or I guess
but
for
it's like-
everything.
it's similar.
It's like GTA, isn't it?
Well, it's kind of like it's
You're like a
it's
cop?
kind of like Minecraft ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's Lego, and I'm like, I want that way more than I'd ever want Minecraft.
Yeah.
Are fun to play. Like, people dismiss games. I mean, we saw this when Wind Waker came out. The backlash against Wind Waker, and people were dismissing what was one of the most fun, playable, amazing, incredible games because of the way it looked and like it's childlike.
Right.
And childlike games have been some of the most rewarding gaming experiences I've had. Like, like Lego games are awesome. Like the Batman Lego game or something like that. And then like Pikmin is very that's one of my favorite games of all time. And Mogan and I do the hardcore no death run.
No kill run, pacifist run.
No, lose a single one.
No, you not lose one single Pikmin.
One died. You're like 8 levels deep into a cave, and one died. You're like, oh, no, starting over. Like,
I think one of the main reasons that I hated Pikmin 3 was that it was so hard to keep them alive. I never got a Wii U. Yeah, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
you're all right.
So did a whole lot of people didn't get a Wii U.
Although you did miss out on Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for the Wii U, which had the special Tekken Ball mode, which had the best song ever. So really, joke's on you.
Well, you spoke about this in the hype. I was, I didn't have really a budget, and we were waiting to get the Wii U because of the new Zelda game, and then it never came out for the Wii U, and so I'm glad I didn't get it because it came out for the Switch, which is what we're here to talk about.
Exactly. Good segue.
Wow, that's a great
segue.
Yeah, that's a great segue.
All right, so Glenda's got her notes.
Book full of notes.
I do.
Wow.
So I guess without further ado, let's jump in.
Going back
to our spoiler-filled. Just heads up again. Spoiler-filled review.
The disclaimer that I'm giving at the beginning is Breath of the Wild is a beautiful, nuanced, immersive, challenging, incredible gameplay. It's an amazing game. I'm glad I have it. It's going to be a big part of my life as I replay it later. And I appreciate it for all of those things. And I'm going to give praises to this game. But that being said, this is kind of a critique of the game and things that I was happy about, not happy about. I guess the first, in my notes, in my little bullet points. First off, it's hard not to compare the game to. I mean, you should compare it to the other Zelda series, right? And what you said in a previous episode is it does feel like a standalone game as opposed to, and I'm going to treat it as such, as a standalone game as opposed to in the series. It had this. When you started the game, it was almost overwhelming of I can't believe I can just explore this whole world, and where do I go, and what do I do, and all these creatures, and it was so joyful to play it. And the system alone, side note on the system alone, I was so, my friend called me the Tuesday or the day after the Switch came out and said, because I didn't have one. There's a Switch in Henderson, but you got to be here in 30 minutes, which is all the way across. It's out of Las Vegas. It's the city that's connected to Las Vegas. But you can have one, but you got to be here in 30 minutes. So I ran to my car in my pajamas, flipped it across the city, bought a Switch that somebody didn't want apparently, and then I played it every waking hour. I was sleep deprived playing this game, and I played it until
I was too.
And I took it with me to work, and every 30 minutes, because I'm on stage for 30 minutes and then off stage for 30 minutes. And every break, I was playing it, and I was literally taking it with me to stage. I work at a nightclub on Fridays and Saturdays, and I would and I was playing it way to stage, and then just put it next to my platform, go, and then go back to the dressing room. I couldn't put it down.
And that's the beauty of the Switch. It's portable. You can take it anywhere.
If we were to talk about the Switch as a system, it would definitely. I think we should have a whole discussion.
Needs to do that now. I'm sorry. I just I want that out of every game system now. I want it to be a fusion of portable and console. That's just why I haven't this.
Why isn't Xbox doing this?
Yeah, why is the Xbox so big and clunky and annoying?
Just watch Project Scorpio. They're going to be Exactly. They're going to be it's portable now.
I think just briefly, if we we should do an episode on the Switch as a device because I do love the Switch a lot. I think it's seamless. It's very seamless from going from a console to a handheld system, and I love how it feels. I've always wanted a device that just feels like this in my hands. It's got a big enough screen. It feels so solid.
It doesn't feel flimsy at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And those people who say there's warped, they were doing something wrong. That was them.
It's
that was them.
Your system. You're not taking care of it.
Yeah, you're being abusive to a beautiful game.
The thing that happens when you take it out of the box is you put that screen protector on it. glass tempered screen protector, which I sent you. I hope it
I know.
works.
I'm using it all the time now. Thank you.
Okay. Right? You're welcome. So that, you should definitely do an episode on the Switch itself.
Yeah,
so jumping right into things. So there's 120 shrines, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I personally would have preferred, instead of 120 shrines, maybe 60 shrines where spread out in the world. But I'm sorry that it was missing the kind of temple element from the game. I can't complain that there was lack of content, because God knows it was the most content-filled game, hours and hours and hours and hours of playing and so much to do. But I got to this point where I played, first of all, I did the Divine Beast Nivoris first. I did the Gerudo one. That was the first one I did.
So you went southwest, I guess.
Yeah, I just went out to the desert. I was no, that's where I'm going to, which is amazing. That's incredible. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the desert. And I love the Gerudo so much. I mean, a city full of badass women where boys aren't allowed is just my aesthetic.
I love the old lady Gerudo that's I know you're a boy, fool. I've been around the block. And it's please don't tell anybody. And she's it's fine.
When Link first puts on the Gerudo outfit, that's a really memorable moment.
And
he kind of blushes.
I took so many screenshots. I took a screenshot of that, and then I took a screenshot of when the guard is where are your abs? And you're way too short.
And it's I'm sorry, I'm not up to your standard of beauty. Gosh.
Yeah. So I did that one first. And I mean, I was so overwhelmed with the shifting of the, changing the, basically the elements of the camel that you're in, which was so, it was an incredible experience to look in the distance and actually see these things moving around and being oh, holy shit. And then I'm thinking it's going to get me, it's going to get me, it's going to get me. As I'm running past it, trying to where it wouldn't see me. That was another element of the enemies not knowing what they are and coming up to them, and then being able to die in a Zelda game was the most refreshing experience ever.
It really was.
Because I never die in Zelda ever. I mean, who dies in Zelda?
Right. No. Even if you only have 3 hearts in past games, if you died, it was your bad. You clearly did something wrong.
I can tell you the one time that I died. The one time was in Twilight Princess when you're just turned into the wolf and you're in the castle dungeon. Yeah.
The spikes.
And you get stuck in the water. And there's the little Twilight creatures, and they're getting at you. Yeah. And one, it just takes 2 hits and then you're done because you only have 3 hearts. It's the only time.
Yeah.
So to be able to to die it was just really nice. I really liked being able to die all the time. That was it was so refreshing. And I remember the first time I came up against a Lionel.
Oh my God. Wasn't that fantastic?
Well, I didn't know what it was. I was who is this friend?
Oh, I remember. Friend? Yes. I remember my first time too.
Hey there, good pal. You want to be best friends?
I almost tried to talk to it. I was I'm going to go, maybe it's a thing we can talk to and communicate.
Yeah.
It does not want, that is not your friend.
Yeah.
He does not want to be your friend.
I tell you, the first time I saw one and we got into this battle, I was I'll hide behind a rock and I'll let him go away. And I don't know has he done this where he shoots an arrow straight up and it will come.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm well, I can't hide by this rock. I'll run.
Find you.
I remember I was 1,000 miles away and I saw it in the distance and I was oh, I'm gonna go around it, and it was bitch, I see you over there, and he started shooting at me, and I was oh my God, no.
And those arrows creatures don't miss, and they pretty much one shot you.
Yeah.
I came right up to it, and I swear I think I even had a tree branch. That's probably what the weapon I had was, or a bat, and I was just I literally just kind of poked him, and he just one shot at me.
Yeah.
Walk up to him without him doing anything yet, and then he just slapped me and I died. And I was oh, you're not my friend.
You're not my friend.
And then the experience of kind of the Talus or whatever, when you first jump off the plateau.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
That was such a that's
totally rad paraglider.
Oh, that ranks as one of my top gaming moments now. Actually leaving the plateau for the first time and floating down into Hyrule proper, and you're just oh my God.
Yeah.
Thrill.
This is insane.
So bomb. But getting down and then the dun 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 dun, and then like the boss battle bar coming off the top, and then being like, oh my god, I'm so unprepared. Like, which is not an experience you have in Zelda games. You always like, you can't access this area until you have this weapon, and like, I don't hate that formula because clearly I played these games forever. I know them really well. Like, I love them. I'm replaying Ocarina of Time right now. But like, I don't know. I just wanted to have a temple. I wanted like, because it was like the shrines were one and done. They were interesting and engaging, but like I got in and it was done. And I think something from Zelda games that I really like is the atmospheric elements of like themed temples, like something based in fire. And obviously we had that with the Divine Beasts. But okay.
But do we?
No, not so. I would kind of agree with that aspect.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the Divine Beasts, and I loved the mechanics of them. The mechanics of being able to shift the entire dungeon.
Very cool.
To be able to traverse it. That's amazing.
Very cool.
But aesthetically and thematically, I really felt like they were all the same.
I agree.
And to a certain, like for the first one, for that, I did fight Varuta first.
That's
the
elephant.
Elefante.
Yes.
So I went sort of the more linear route and fought that one first.
So did I.
And actually, I kind of think that was one of the harder ones. I feel like the one from the Gerudo and Varuta were the two that were the hardest for me.
Yeah.
I didn't, in terms of their boss battles.
Okay.
So the one that was the water-based...
in terms of boss battles, yeah.
So
that was
Water
hard.
Blight Ganon, that one was freaking hard.
That was
and
difficult.
So was Thunder Blight Ganon.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I wasn't going to make it out of that one.
Okay. But like, honestly, they kind of ran together for me. Like those bosses, like that's the thing I missed out of a themed temple is like, first, I mean, I know I have all these tangents. I'm sorry. I couldn't believe there was not going to be, there's no swimming underwater.
That's a good point.
Was that surprising to you? I was like, there's no
even think about
underwater
that.
exploration.
That's true.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh! So even in the water temple, it
No,
wasn't.
you don't dive underwater ever.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, if you can drown if you're fatigued.
You can drown,
but you're right. You can't go
game,
underwater.
So like even in Twilight Princess, you
there's
could
underwater.
put on the boots.
Yep, and you
could put on
go
your
down
iron
to the bottom.
boots
That's right.
Yeah, you have the lake, and you have the lake bed temple, which like I had a mermaid shoot the other day, and I was like playing that music to get prepped for the mermaid shoot because I want that theme in my life.
I mean, duh, who wouldn't?
Aesthetics or die. When did I know that? Okay, so I felt like the boss battles, when you think about like the boss battles in Ocarina of Time, you have 3 when you have the spiritual stone, and then you have Shadow Ganon for the forest temple, you have Morpheal for the water temple, you have Volvagia for the fire temple. And they were each these unique bosses that matched the temple, and they kind of had their own, I mean, they were all like this evil presence, but like I just felt like they were different. You know, the Bongo in the Shadow Temple, totally unexpected.
That was a
totally
really
weird,
fun one.
but matched that weird, disturbing. I mean, the Shadow Temple was like one of the most terrifying experiences of my gaming life is doing that temple. Like, I just want to get it over with. It's so scary.
I just want to be out of here.
Like the Thunderblight, like the name of these things, the Thunderblight Ganon, whatever. I didn't feel like I connected to them at all. Like the characterization, I think about, like you mentioned the Zant battle.
Yeah.
When we're talking about like building up to these final battles, when I finished the 4 Divine Beasts, it was like, okay, go to Hyrule Castle now. I was shocked. I had this, my twin sister was with me on the couch, and she was like, are those really the 4 things you have to do before you go to, go to castle? I couldn't believe it. I refused. I had this mental block of like, that is not the only thing I have to do, like the 4 big quests I have to do in the game before I beat Ganon.
Yeah, it was crazy. Because
Yeah.
in traditional Zelda games, it's like, no, that was part 1. There's
Right.
like 3 more parts. that was just
I
phase
kept
1.
expecting it to happen. Like I kept expecting something to come up where it was like, okay, now you have to go to the spirit realm or something where it would, but it was no, you just do those 4, which were good. It was a great game experience, and then we were done. And then I didn't do Hyrule Castle until I did all the shrines. The first thing I did was I got all the towers.
Yeah. Yep.
I like to have that complete, and then I did all the shrines. And then I upgraded all my equipment. You know, I did all that stuff. So by the time I did the assault on Hyrule Castle, I was pretty OP, to be honest. I had an entire inventory of like defense food and fighting food and all these things. And then I'm sorry, the battle with Ganon was the most disappointing thing ever. And I thought the Skyward Sword battle was disappointing.
Oh,
I thought the
that
Skyward
one still ranks as my most disappointing Zelda battle, the Skyward Sword one. There were certain things about the final battle in Breath of the Wild that I did really enjoy. But overall, I would say that I was actually a little surprised that here again, kind of with the multi-tiered approach, that there were only 2 phases of like the final battle. I was like, no, there's at least 6. What's happening here? So,
there's no way that this is done. And I know, like, keep comparing it. Twilight Princess was so... When you do the assault on Hyrule Castle in Twilight Princess, and for the first time in the game, there's no music when you enter the Misty Courtyard. It's like Misty Rain, no music, which I was just like, OMG. And then do that. And can we just talk about, like, when you do you remember when you fight King Bulblin and you do that final battle with him and he gets on his, like, pig steed.
Yeah.
And he turns to you and he talks to you. And then Minda comes out and goes like, oh my God, he can speak. He can talk. And that was this moment, I remember it giving me chills. It was this moment of like deep characterization of the enemies in the game being like, they aren't necessary. He said, he specifically said, I always follow the strongest side. That is all I have ever known.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember being like, oh my God.
That's a really like heavy and well, thought out piece of dialogue.
In one freaking sentence.
Yeah.
In one
sentence. Tells you like everything you need to know about this person.
King Bulblin had more character than Calamity Ganon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He did.
I agree.
So I think one of my biggest problems with Calamity Ganon is that he's ever present in the game, but not in any way, shape, or form that would give him personality.
Yeah.
Like, it really is just this shapeless hatred, which I understand. Like, that is the essence of Ganon.
I get that.
So, like, on the one hand, I understand. On the other hand, I feel like the personalities of Wind Waker Ganon, Twilight Princess Ganon, Ocarina of Time Ganon, they were all really unique. And even though they are the same reincarnation of Demise, like Skyward Sword set up, they were all different in their own way. And with Calamity Ganon, you didn't have any chance to interact with him, as a humanoid embodiment.
Yeah.
And without
I will give it. He was
just
terrifying
one-dimensional.
and
yeah, exactly. So he had no motives. He had no essence.
He was already there.
Yeah, he was already there. It was like, actually, when I went into Hyrule Castle for the first time, I did it by accident. Like, I turned to open it. Which is a fun
thing to be able to do in the game.
Yeah, so actually something that I really missed is that there was no ceremony about it. Like, I opened the gate to Hyrule Castle and it was like, yes, here I am. And I was like, wait, no. There's got to be other stuff.
I know. Here you are, like.
So actually, I was like, "Oh, this isn't right." So I turned around and left because I was like, "That can't be it."
Yeah,
I was like, "I did something wrong. I had to have done something wrong." So like, I turned around, went and changed my outfit so that I would look really cool coming into the castle, of course. And then I walked back in, and it was exactly the same. And I was like, "Oh, this really is it. It doesn't matter that I look super fine now."
Doorway. You can I remember I was like, "That's where he is." Like, I literally just walked through this hallway and he's there.
Yeah, see, then when I actually got to the sanctum, which is where he was, I didn't realize that. Like, I walked into a room that I thought was going to be like a temple kind of, and it was like, nope, here it is, boss battle started.
Hope you're ready.
And I was like, I'm not ready. And as it turns out, I was ready because it was comparatively, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
But it did leave a very unfortunate emptiness of not having that connection to the final boss. And that's a really important thing to have in any game.
Going off just real quick. So 2 things. I could forgive the sort of slim characterization of any of these enemies if I had a better characterization of the allies that you meet in each city. I also thought that was very cut and paste as well, and I think I mentioned that before. Yeah, and like it would have been great if these allies.
In my notes, I have that down.
It would have been great, right? If these allies that you met had these really unique, interesting they're unique and interesting, but they're all just copy and paste and of each other, and so that along with the Divine Beast was just this repetition.
Exactly.
And real quick to go off the emptiness, I hate to say this, and this is unfortunate to say this, but I never really felt so empty in a game. At one point specifically, I was exploring the Northwest region, which is very snow heavy.
Oh yeah, the Hebra region.
Yeah, so and it's beautiful in its isolation, and maybe it's supposed to make you feel empty. And I was looking for shrines over there, and it was one of the most I felt so isolated in a video game, and I I ran into there's a house up there where you can learn how to do snow. Yeah, you can snowboard.
Did you have motivation to play the game if you weren't going to get a heart piece?
What?
Did you have motivation to play any of those mini games if you weren't going to get a heart piece?
Oh, any motivation? That's kind of
like quiver upgrade. I didn't have any motivation to play any of those games because I could get rupees another way, and there was no heart piece, and
you
I
get rubies, right? You get rubies, which I don't need. But so it's just a quick anecdote. So I'm in the snow region. I stumble across that cabin, and I'm like, and I in my my heart, I was like, I'm gonna meet somebody in here, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be this person, and it's gonna be this really interesting story. I'm finally gonna come across a really interesting story in the game, and I was so disappointed that she taught me how to snowboard on my shield.
Yeah.
I was just like, you talk about Twilight Princess, I just kind of miss the encounters that you have that are actually really reflective of I don't know, there's really atmospheric, and I don't think this game had a lot of atmosphere. I don't think,
Do you remember the part where you're doing the siege on Hyrule Castle in Twilight Princess, and you're going across the bridge to the gatehouse, and all those and the mini bosses from some different games come into the picture, and they are surrounding you, and you think all right, let's do this. I don't know how I'm going to do. And then the squad that has been helping you out, like the Resistance and Hyrule, that all have Shad. And I've got my
Shay. She was my favorite.
I need to play Twilight Princess again.
You do.
I really do.
They have, and they were, and they killed them for you. And I remember I had to just drop the controller when that happened. It was so mind blowing to me. It was so beautiful. And this camaraderie, because I had never had that in a Zelda game, really. You hadn't really had that in Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, or I don't really remember in Wind Waker. I don't think you work with Tetra, right? No, the Rudibird.
Oh, Medley.
Medley. Okay.
Yes.
Where you had that pairing with somebody, but you didn't really. That was about it. In that moment in Twilight Princess, of I've got help, and they're coming with me, and they're helping me siege the castle. And the boss forms for Ganon, when he stopped possessing Zelda, which was a really, I think, beautiful version of her, this really gorgeous, just awful possessed version of her. The music that happened when he turned into the boar, I don't know if you remember that. It was this drum sound. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was expecting that kind of experience in the final battle, but I didn't feel I kept finding a horse stable and getting really excited, and then not connecting with any of those characters. Yes. And I think you mentioned this is so perfect because I thought about this completely when you said it. Midna, you don't have this companion with you to have this dialogue, and she had such a complicated story.
Yes. Yep.
So, and I realized another thing too, I feel like this is one of the first Zelda games where you don't ever enter another realm.
Yes. So you are in the same realm the whole time. And I think that part of that is just that it's the nature of the game. So we really can't fault it for that, because obviously they were going for a very different feel. But that seamless experience from region to region, almost, it kind of made it feel all a little too the same to a certain extent. So you never felt like you were getting this otherworldly experience.
Yeah.
Like with Skyward Sword, you had to do the trials. where you would go to the spirit world and like do that stuff. And with Twilight Princess, you had to go to Midna's realm, and
yes,
that
was like really weird and unexpected.
And then even with Wind Waker, you had to go to I think the Temple of Time in Wind Waker would have been when you sunk down into the ocean and went to old Hyrule.
And that emotional element of when you realize that this is high, and it's like this was a sequel or whatever to Ocarina of Time, and everyone that you ever knew or the characters died a long time ago because the world has been flooded. It was this biblical thing, and I don't feel like I got. That's why I am treating this as kind of like a standalone game. I mean, they had their Easter eggs like the Long Ranch outside of Hyrule Castle that you go see.
It's all like destroyed, right?
Yeah, it's just like a hollowed out.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that, but like I didn't feel like I had characterization with any of the people there. And I don't know if it would have been helped if I had, like, I'm trying to think of like a character that I remember. I think that Urbosa was my favorite.
Oh, really? Mipha was still my favorite. I loved Urbosa too.
I liked Urbosa.
Would be my freaking favorite. And especially that ability too. Like, you do get OP. Like, honestly, it's really quickly to get.
You actually want to know something?
From, like, one-shotted.
I never used Urbosa's ability once.
The lightning?
Never used it. I never used the
Really?
lightning. I didn't use it even once. In fact, I got to the end of the game and I didn't know how to use it. I had to like go to the menu to like see how to use it,
just charge
and
up
then
your...
I wound up not using it. I
funny.
never used that in combat. I tried it once right after I got it, never used it. Like not for any reason, simply because I didn't think about it. Like every time I was in a fight, I was like, just like beating them up with a sword, and I never even thought to use it.
So good,
and honestly,
especially for the
very
camps
powerful.
Of all the
it's super powerful
enemies.
Oh, it never even crossed my mind to use it because honestly, I had so little attachment to where that ability had come from. Like it didn't stick in my mind. Yeah. I never thought to use it. Like with Rivali's Gale, I needed it because
I love Rivali. I like that power a lot.
All day, every day.
Yeah, that was the one I was waiting to like fill up. I was like, oh, please fill up. Yes.
I appreciate that it has the shortest cooldown of all four abilities.
God knows you needed it.
Did you guys do? Speaking of, what's his name?
Rivali.
Rivali. So that
Ravioli.
I think that's right.
Falco.
It's that city. What is that city called?
Rito City.
Rito. Okay.
Some people
Rito
might say
Village.
Rito. You're probably saying it wrong.
I probably am. Did you do the side quest? And the only reason I'm bringing up this side quest is because I wish more side quests were like this.
I did quests. Which one?
It was when you have to help the little girl birds in their choir class, or like they have to all sing together. That was a really specific side quest that I really remembered.
I do too.
And I wish more side quests, and also I wish the shrines were more interesting like that. There was a lot of things you had to do for that. You had to make a meal, you had to get everybody, round them up, and then you had to listen to their music and then remember the tone of the music and then reflect it back to the stones. And I thought, like, okay, this is a multi-layered way of getting me to complete a task rather than rolling a ball into a hole, which was a lot of the shrines.
Okay, there is one. I did not do all the side quests because there is one side quest I did not do. And I don't mean to bring up this topic and to be dramatic and to make this point. But I saw my partner do this task, and I was honestly very taken aback by this. I was like, did they really do this? This was a thing they did in the game. Did y'all do the side quest where you have the adult wanderer who gets the love letter from the child Zora girl?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
That was a little weird.
Did y'all get a weird vibe from that? It was weird to me.
Yeah,
she's a baby child,
and
they have like a romantic love relationship.
That was weird.
With like a grown man?
Yeah.
Yes, romance.
That was
like,
weird.
is he the same species?
So the little girl is a Zora girl.
Okay.
So
Which, real quick, I love the little Zora babies and like the Gerudo
in the water,
kids. Like they all had like little baby versions of everybody,
really
which was adorable.
I think that they tried to justify that particular one by saying, well, it's because she's a Zora and she's actually so much older. And even that's kind of that's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy, and why would you not just use an adult? Because it's like, don't try to. It's obviously a child. These are the children. In each village, right? We have the child versions. You have the child Gerudo, you have the child Gorons, you have the child Sora, you have the child Rito. Like each one, and they're obviously babies.
You also have
they have their parents, they have their nursery,
which is actually one of the best moments of the game when you go into that village for the first time. Not Kuriko, but Hateno?
Oh, Hateno.
Hateno village.
When you go into Hateno for the first time.
That was a really, really special moment.
And
that kid with glasses, he's like, hey, follow me. And you follow him, and it's awesome. And he takes you to that stone. And that's when this, okay, so this is the first 5-10 hours of the game that you're going to be doing this probably. And I will always say the first 30 hours of this game I really, really loved. It wasn't until I started repeating the same thing over and over that I had issues. But the first 30 hours is a really remarkable game for me.
Still, that's a lot of good hours of rock solid gameplay.
You know? I know. I feel like I want to say more good things about it because I feel like this thing I didn't like. I want to say more wonderful things about the game, which I did. I made notes the music in the labyrinths, unreal, incredible, so atmospheric. Those are hard. I went to see my twin sister in Oregon, and I literally it was in a misty forest. I was like, I gotta pull it up on my phone. I gotta play the song because it was this misty atmosphere. It's the music that's in when you're exploring the Lost Woods, and it's in all 3 labyrinths, which that was awesome.
The Lost Woods,
all 3 labyrinths, and then the reward for the barbarian armor at the end of each labyrinth. That was cool. Loved it. I loved the dark forest, that one dark.
Yes.
Where you have a torch.
Where you go in and it's totally black and you're like, oh my God, this is scary. I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Love that. I also loved exploring. We haven't even mentioned Guardians once in this discussion, but they deserve a mention on the pure terror. Of
spiders crawl towards you, and you're like,
and I loved how they did not, soften those villains. Those are when I'm riding on my horse and running away from one, and the lasers and the explosions, I'm like, this is way too close.
I puss out. I just warp out. I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, Speckles.
Every time I do not feel like I'm actually going to get away, which I think in video games is hard to do. Usually I'm like, I'll get away. I'll just run this way. I'm like, go.
I couldn't believe, when I encountered my first Guardian and it chased after me, I did the same thing. I was like, I can outrun it.
Yeah.
False.
You're like,
even with a crap ton of stamina, you still have to run at breakneck speed, and usually
even then you won't be because I happened to capture the Lord of the Mountain, which was also a cool experience.
What is
and
that?
So I was
Don't tell Zach what it is.
Wait a minute. Is that the deer that glows?
Yes. Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure.
I almost caught one. I went up there and I was like, "What's everyone doing?" I was like, and it was they all just scattered. It was glowing bunnies and glowing deer.
Hello, friends.
Yeah.
Oh, not anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I was. I was like, "Hey, partay."
That's
impressive that you caught one.
I was like, I'm gonna ride this dude all around Hyrule, but the Guardians are there, and I had dealt with the ones that were, at this point I was like, this was way later in the game because you first deal with ones that are stuck, and then your first encounter with ones with feet is oh dear God!
Yeah.
It is
this is the end for
the
me.
ones that are not just they're there and they can get up and move around, but you have to get close enough to them for them to wake up. No, these are the ones actively searching for you.
Yeah.
And he has the whole thing is that the Lord of the Mountain is super fast and he has infinite stamina. Vaporized with the Guardian.
Wait, he got killed?
No, he comes back. You get to go back to the mountain and get him, but he just poof, gone.
Oh my God.
Did you get the Mega Horse?
I got the Mega Horse.
The big, and I was really disappointed I couldn't put flowers in his name.
No,
yeah, it was this is some sexist horse bullshit right here. Why can't I do this?
I thought it was that mission to do that. I thought it was Ganon because it's a black and orange horse.
I
did. I was like, it's gonna turn into.
That would have been a fun twist.
I wish it was. I wish it was. I know.
If that
He's
had
like,
been
hello.
The secret final battle.
No.
are that it is Ganondorf's force. Those are the fan theories.
Yeah. So actually, I think that theory holds water, that it must be Ganon's horse, because in most of the depictions of him in all the games, when he is a humanoid, he's huge. He's always he's 80
huge.
times the size of everybody else.
Princess, when you have that final battle where Zelda, badass in that game, is on the back, and she's like, first of all, that moment where like, here's the arrows. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna have new arrows. No, they are not for you. She's going to fire them for you on the back of the horse in that plateau outside of Hyrule Castle. And that, he rides this big black horse with like red eyes and stuff. Yeah, I got that one. I got like Zelda's horse.
Yeah, the white one.
Oh, yes, I got that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, like I said, the only quest I didn't do was the weird pedophile quest. I'm sorry, it was weird. Not
You're like, I refuse.
Let's call it now.
I refuse. It's uncomfortable, and I don't like it. And
did
so
you
I'm
do
just
the?
not gonna. But
did
like,
you do the island?
Like, okay, I mean, I know I make all these like random notes. Can I just say, on a game developer's point of view, adding voice acting does not necessarily immediately magically create depth and characterization to your characters. Just because there's a voice doesn't give this like, it's not going to be this instant fix like magically now they're super relatable and you can really get into who they are and whatever. Because we saw that didn't. I did like the whole collecting memories and getting more of a feel of Zelda and getting kind of like her complex like this tumultuous relationship she had with her father and like that kind of thing. But yeah, like Link was more faceless than he ever was, honestly. Yeah.
And
like
honestly,
he really was. This was a game where, before meeting Zelda is like a big experience in any of the other Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. She's only present in a memory when she teaches you the Song of Time. Twilight Princess was awesome when she pulled off her hood and it was like, I'm Princess Zelda and I've been trapped in this castle. Like, whereas this, you kind of always knew because you were just her knight protector. But I don't know. Like, did you read the journals in the castle that like where she talks about Link more?
A little bit.
I didn't explore the castle.
Actually, you know what I did that was really stupid? I got the last memory, which is the one where you're like in Princess Zelda's tower. So I got the last memory. I had actually dropped into that room from the window. So like I had to walk out of the room to get the last memory. And so at first I was in the room and I looked around and I saw the book and I was like, oh sweet, I'm going to come back and read that. But I see that there's a memory out there. So I walked outside to get the memory. Straight up forgot to go back and read the book. So I read the one from the king. I read her father's diary, but I forgot to read hers.
I actually, honestly, I had some of the most fun with just that element of like, that was something because of the open world, looking at the picture, being like, where could this be? And that was awesome to me. Like, I loved like, all right, I've got trees, so I know it's going to be in a forest area. It's not the jungly forest area, and I loved that because that was really, to me, it was utilizing the open world concept of like where it's the whole place. It could be anywhere, and it's a spot like this big, and you have like I literally found one by accident, like just wandering around, which was a crazy coincidence. But I loved that part. Like I loved exploring that. Like the going into the Lost Temple was interesting, and I kind of wanted a little more story with that.
Yeah.
With all the horrific guardians that were there.
Yeah, like this. Did you go to the Lost Temple?
Where's the Lost Temple?
So it's actually in the Heber region.
Uh-huh.
So you may or may not have been there. I actually dropped onto it from the roof, and like my shrine indicator was going off. It was like, there's a shrine nearby, and I was like, false, lies.
I don't
There's
think I went
no
there.
Shrine around here.
Where is it? I can't. It's nowhere to be found.
You had to walk. So you realize later you're on the roof. You had to walk far enough to finally drop down to a whole nother section of canyon, and then turn around and realize that there's this entrance up in the cliff that leads to something called the Lost Temple.
Okay.
And it was this huge interior space.
Oh, cool.
Filled with guardians.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Full of them.
Wow.
Like you couldn't go 5 feet without a guardian. And then when you get to the end, there was a huge goddess statue, like
the
a giant
shrine, because that's where you get to have. That's when you get the arm, like the Link outfit, which I kept expecting to happen. I was like, when am I gonna get my damn tunic?
So actually,
Chip, chop, chip.
You get the Master Sword, of course, but did I miss it, or is there no Hylian shield, like the true one?
No, there is one. There is one.
Okay, don't tell me about it then. That means I just missed it. Okay. Sweet. So now I have more to explore.
There is one.
There you go.
Okay.
Probably a Savage Lionel shield is going to be like. Have you gotten the Savage Lionel bow × 5?
Yes.
Whoa.
And you're just like,
badass.
Savage Lionel bow × 5 ancient arrow. Which did y'all at any point try to fight any enemy with an ancient arrow that wasn't a guardian? Did you ever have that experience?
No, what happened?
Okay, like there was a silver Lionel. It's the one up, in Hebra next to that shrine. And I was like, I need some better gear, which is another element. Love. I love. It's like, well, you want better gear? Better go up against some hard enemies. Like, love that idea. Amazing. Totally bomb. I go up to fight the silver Lionel, which is the hardest thing to do in the game.
It's
harder than Ganon.
Harder than Ganon.
Harder than Ganon.
Those Lionels are no joke. So. Especially if you don't have if you're not completely prepared. So I was like, I'm just going to show this Lionel who's boss. I'm going to use my badass ancient arrows. And I saved, Amy was with me on the couch. I shot it, and he vanished.
Disappears.
And I thought it was a mistake at first. He just disappeared. Just poof, just vaporized.
Yeah.
But I thought that there was like a glitch in it or something was wrong with the game. So I did it I did it like 2 or 3 more times expecting a different result. Because I thought that at first I was terrified because I thought that he had like shape-shifting ability or something. He could vanish out of thin air and then come back on top of me because it wouldn't surprise me that a Lionel could do that. And then I looked it up, and essentially the ancient arrow vaporizes any enemy that's not a guardian. You won't get any loot, but it one-shots them.
Oh
any
my
enemy
God.
that's not a guardian.
I didn't even try.
Yes. Well, of course I tried. I was like, I'm gonna come up against you with, and then
the last resort, I guess.
Yeah, so the Guardians, once you get those, if you get a Savage Lionel bow, even ×3 or ×5, even if you don't hit them directly in the eye, they're fine.
Yeah.
And then I went on a really nice Guardian hunting tirade to get back at all the times that they had scared me. And because I wanted all the ancient weapons, and you have to, those parts are expensive.
They're expensive and they're hard to find.
The labyrinth out in the ocean?
Yes.
That one?
Oh my gosh.
Did you? Spoiler. I mean, if you didn't know that it was there, did you know that there's a secret room that's like a guardian graveyard? You know that?
Oh, wait, where you drop down into the very middle?
Yes.
Yes, I did do that.
And then you open the chest and then they all come to light. Yes.
And it's just like, no. So
I'm trying to think if there's any other.
Right?
Okay.
It's on the far east, way up beyond where the second lab is.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's the one back there.
The Alcatraz, the Azkaban out in the ocean.
I never went out into the ocean that way.
So if you go out there to that labyrinth and beat the whole labyrinth, you can still technically miss it because doesn't a column of fire come up? Yeah,
it's a vent. It's an air vent so that you can ride up. Which I assumed when I saw that, I was like, oh, I'll go see what this is. And I was flying out there. I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to have enough stamina. But when I got close enough, then I could see the Guardians coming around on the top. And I was like, oh my God, is this what this labyrinth is going to be? But then you get there and they actually don't. It's just to prevent you from being on the top. They can't see you when you're in the labyrinth. So but it's like an air vent, and then you drop down, and it's this big room full of dead Guardians that after you open up a chest, after you get the thing out of the chest, they all come to life.
You get 20 targets.
So you have these red laser dots on you.
And you just have to warp out of there like crazy. You're like, Jesus Christ!
I went back. I killed every single one of them.
Oh my God.
Damn.
I did not go back.
Going up for the couch?
Those Guardians.
I will
Revenge.
Oh, the one. I'm trying to think of one last note. When we think about character development, when I think about just the effort and how beautiful it was in Majora's Mask, when you had, which is an amazing game. People who don't think that's an amazing game are wrong, and they probably didn't learn the Song of Slow Time.
They were probably just being
why they didn't enjoy the game. They're wrong. It's one of the best Zelda games ever made. Just throwing it out there. But Bomber's Notebook was did you play Majora's Mask? I know you did. Did you play Majora's Mask?
Okay, so the only other Zelda game I've ever played
He's a bad fan, Glenda.
is Twilight Princess.
God, why do we even let you on this episode?
Twilight Princess was one of the greatest gaming experiences
Ever.
I've ever had.
Ever,
And,
yes.
and, like it made so much, like everything clicked for Zelda. I was like,
Yeah.
this is why
This
Zelda's
is
a
why
good
people
game.
play it.
This is why people talk about this game.
And that's when, and I like Ocarina of Time will remain my favorite game of all time. It will remain to what I think is the best game of all time,
Yeah.
and I know that critics across the board agree with that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Ocarina of Time, it would be Twilight Princess.
Which I've heard.
Hands
I've heard
down.
Twilight Princess was a really, really good addition
Yes.
into the franchise. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It's-
yeah.
Breath of the Wild is probably ranked higher than Twilight Princess right now.
It probably is, but
I think
I
it
disagree
is.
with that. After
I
playing
disagree
both.
with too.
Probably
I
because
do.
it's
I
new.
like.
Hasn't had time
And
to
I
like sink
feels
in.
is there something that feels a little like I feel ungrateful for like the efforts that has been put into this game. I feel like I have to apologize to the developers. Like, I'm sorry, I'm criticizing it, like, because it was such a monumental effort, such a beautiful creation. But
Right.
I think all our criticisms are valid. Like, do you
I
remember?
agree.
I mean, other than the four, do you remember a single character other than the four? Really, you had Impa,
Who?
Okay.
Hestu, amazing.
Oh yeah,
Loved-
Hestu, the tree guy with his maracas, who dances at you every time you have to get a new thing.
What?
What, you had to have done that. There's no way. So the tree guy
Come
that you
on.
need,
That's
who
his
expands
maracas.
your inventory, like he's the one who gives you extra bow and sword and shield.
Yeah.
slots.
Okay.
But he didn't have
exactly.
maracas.
No, I never met that guy. And where did you? Well, yeah, I never met him.
Upgrade your inventory at all? So
Yeah,
you've only
never
had, like,
met him.
4
I saw
weapons
him on
left?
YouTube. I was
my
like, oh, how
God.
do you? Where is this
There's
person?
no way.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
The big,
You
big.
never met
Karik-
Hestu.
the big,
Yeah.
yeah, never met him.
So wait, is he like a critical
And
part of this game
and it
here?
sucked because I always like could never pick up a lot of weapons.
Oh my
Is that-
god!
Actually, I'm very impressed that you beat the game having never gotten a weapon.
So
I-
that's
where do you
actually
find him?
So he
He's
is very early
he's standing
on.
right outside Kakariko Village. He's like this big, like, my maracas!
Yeah, I mean,
explained the
I've
freaking
seen
maracas,
videos
Zach.
on YouTube. I went to
my
Kariko
God.
Village. I did everything in
Right
there.
there.
Well, why did
That's
I see
crazy.
him?
That
And
means-
he's- oh my
That,
god.
that's
know.
crazy that you were able to play the whole game without doing this
I
like
thought-
Good.
semi-major
Good.
part.
I thought you had to collect all the Kariko seeds, and then you would get to see
That's
him.
what you give him.
Yeah,
For
which-
him to give you
and-
more slots.
And he gives you, but if you collect all 120, doesn't he give you shit or like nothing?
There are not 120 Korok seeds.
Oh,
There
there's
are
not. There's like
900.
900 or something. How much
Yeah.
is there?
Not
No.
hundreds.
Yeah, there's an insane
There's-
amount.
there's a
which is
insane
which I
amount.
don't like. That's stupid.
To a certain extent, I would agree
Oh,
with that.
I'm totally going to get everyone now. I'm going to 100%.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like,
But yeah, I mean, I'm going
Seems-
to do it. I'm going to do it.
I don't know.
I'm also going to get the DLC, which I have never done for any video game in my life. I've never gotten
Really?
DLC ever.
Wow.
Now, honestly, I am too. And my hope for the DLC is that part of what they've said is that, at least for the later DLC that's coming out in fall/holiday, my
Yeah.
hope is that it will be more story focused. Because I do
Yes.
feel that perhaps that is one of the primary criticisms that hopefully
Yes.
Nintendo has heard, that they will be, that they're actively, I hope, fingers crossed, thinking about giving us more about, because any
Well-
additional content about
Yes.
any of those main 4 characters, I would
Yes.
love that,
Yeah.
because I feel that that's what it is missing.
Like, why did that guy hate Link?
Yeah. What
Why did-
was Rivali's
Yeah,
position?
why did
Why
did he
being
not
such a
like
dick
Link?
the whole time?
Such a douchebag.
Yeah.
Douchebag.
He was so
I'm not
pompous. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he-
what did you do?
It's like, I'm
Who
the
are you?
champion, you
Yeah.
asshole.
Stand
I'm
down.
the
Stand down. Stand down.
You died.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Get out of my way. I'm
It's
going to work
like,
with your
I
friend.
had to go do your dirty work for you because you couldn't keep
Yeah.
your divine beast in
Stop
order.
talking down to me.
So I
You know,
hope
like,
that
the
is.
experience of like playing a game, you hate this character. You're like, the first, it was Ruto was the first one in Ocarina of Time where I hated her. I hated her so much. And then in Twilight Princess, it was Elia. I hated her.
Oh, she
I
never
really-
was pleasant. Ugh. It's just like, it's my horse. You don't know how to take care of my horse better than I do. I live on a farm, bitch.
Oh, God.
Ugh, I hated her too.
Cursing.
I hated her.
Cursing.
Didn't want to
Oh,
rescue
for
her.
heaven's
Didn't want to
sake.
rescue her. Like that side plot, rescuing the children in Twilight Princess. Like it was the main plot, but it wasn't part of the main plot. It was this
Yeah.
whole side,
But
like
I don't know. I like I remember you had to go rescue these children, and I liked that. I liked that someone got. I liked that was the inciting incident, and I also remember in Twilight Princess, like you guys probably know better than I do. What's the moment where like Link would have these sort of dreams where he would either meet like Dark Link in his dreams, but there's one in specific where like a lot of Links are upside down,
falling down,
and I was like, whoa! And those one of the more heavy moments that happened in the game, but it was like frightening.
That the light creatures give you.
Okay.
Like
it's right when you beat the Lake Bed Temple, and it was the story that the Lake Bed Temple Guardian gives to, which is Lanayru, I think. It's the Lanayru Guardian, I'm pretty sure. It gives to Link about, it's just kind of, and it has, do you know what an oud is, that instrument? It's a stringed instrument from the Middle East. It's a really beautiful, it's used in like Turkey. It's like a Turkish instrument. But it had that oud trill. It's like OUD. And it had those notes being plucked as he was like running slow motion. Slow motion to the hill. And then Elia had her eyes white, and it was the horrible chill word, like this kind of cackling screams coming up.
It was terrifying.
It was genuinely. I still watch that one, and
psychologically,
I'm like, oh my God. It was scarring. Yes, we were children.
And what makes it so scary is the framing it within a game that shouldn't really necessarily have that imagery. It kind of came. I've never it's pretty tame for the most part, but they introduced these really heavy moments. Same with Zant, like the whole Zant's characterization and his identity is a frightening, especially when I know we talked about this, when he reveals himself and he's like this child, and it's this weird like Freudian sort of critique of
I
feel
person. Like Breath of the Wild was trying to do that. I feel like they were trying to give you that sense of, well, this is the new generation, you're putting everything to right, you're trying to basically undo all of the damage that you did by failing, more or less. And I felt that the most strongly with the Zora people, because they looked at Link and they outright blamed him.
That was good.
That
was good.
That is why Mipha stands out in my mind as being the most memorable of the four, because she, I felt, had the most characterization, where literally everyone in that city, except for a few standouts, looked at Link and said,
you're the reason why she's dead. And
you took our princess, and you're why she's dead.
Right.
And I
felt like that their age, they remember, because they were old enough for her to be alive.
Yeah, they were like, you son of a bitch. They were basically like, how dare you show your face here?
Yeah.
And I felt like that gave Link a lot of character.
Yeah.
And that gave Mipha a ton of character. And that made me like that Zora arc significantly more than the others.
That was the best arc of all the times.
Matt Fritz Sidon, and we love him.
Oh,
what's his name?
Sidon,
yeah, he's amazing. Yes, what you just did there is what he does. Yeah, he was the best. Come on, Link. Yeah, very optimistic.
I loved the hilarity of him being a fish person wearing a cravat.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't need that. You live in the water.
Yeah, he had a great smile.
It was excellent. And compared to him, I suppose it was kind of the curse that if you did it in the linear fashion, he was the first one you met.
That's what happened.
Whereas
he was the last one for me. I met him, but that was the last Divine Beast I did.
Yeah.
So it almost, like, that arc being so strong almost set the other three up to be weird.
Yeah. Again, why?
Because I didn't, even though I loved Urbosa, I didn't feel her reason. I didn't feel her motive.
Well, yeah.
I just didn't.
Like, they're going to stand on their beast and they're going to say something to Ganon about how in one more moment we're all going to fire at the same time. And it's like,
I do have to say, I had the fangirling, like, I was like, because the desert one was the first one I did. And that cutscene of when, like, I'm gonna get you. I was just like, about to cuss. I literally was like bouncing up on the couch, being like, "Fuck him up!"
I felt like that with the Zora.
Varuta.
Yeah.
So when Varuta goes down the river and that music
starts
up,
and it's like
and then it
happening.
climbs up onto a mountain, I was like, Jesus Christ, shit's getting real.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so excited about that. I was like, hell yes.
And the thing we have in common about these is that was like in our initial setting of the game. Like for you, that was your first one. For us, it was our first.
The beginning of the game
is
better.
And that's why it has so much impact. I do feel that the biggest criticism I can levy against Breath of the Wild is the drop-off.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
drop off of
Yes.
that emotional connection is really kind of the biggest problem, because actually I think some of its strongest points are, I love Princess Zelda's characterization. I feel like this is one of the best games for her motives and her character as a whole. I love that they finally put her in the context of, hey, you represent the Triforce of Wisdom. You better like learning. And it's like, hey, she actually does. She loves learning and she's a scholarly person. And I felt like that was something that no other Zelda really had. But aside from that, I just never felt the emotion to any of the other characters beyond Mipha and to a certain extent Zelda. And that's really the biggest criticism I have about the game.
Yeah.
And it's not a make or break thing. I'm going to play it again.
And
Rest assured.
I was really, when you meet the first scientist that's the little girl trapped, or an old woman trapped in, and like I read the journal and I kind of got into that character, and that was actually a character that I kind of did connect with, but unfortunately it's not like something that you progress
I thought
with.
For sure,
I thought that she was going to have a bigger role
to help her.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be much
get back
bigger.
To being an old lady.
Yes, which would have been great.
She's still a child.
Yeah,
as
she
far
was
as we know, she's
Mogan and I share the disappointment in Skyward Sword. Stupid rosy cheeks bastard who throws the pumpkin.
Fledge, is that his name?
And you thought that we were like, he's going to get really buff and handsome whenever we give him enough pumpkin.
He's going to be Link's new boyfriend.
Or whatever it was. And he never did, and we were really disappointed.
So there's this character in Skyward Sword where he's like, you find him at night, like secretly working out, and you have to give him stamina potions because he's like, oh man, I'm so tired, I can't go on.
Nobody can do anything themselves.
You have to do this again and again and again.
Yeah, surely.
And so Glenda and I are like,
because
he's like a super derpy, like scrawny loser. You hate that guy. He's a nerd.
Nerd!
We kept thinking that eventually, when I give him all these potions and he's done working out, he's
cool.
gonna be fine. Wrong. Wrong.
Yeah, it's very disappointing.
He's gonna gross up, which is another such a lovable character.
Such a good character.
Such a love to hate.
For all the hate that Skyward Sword gets, it had character. In spades. Like, Skyward Sword had some of the best and most relatable characters.
But really intense characterization.
Really good characters.
I don't mind reading. I like reading. Like I can just easily immerse myself into a character with just like reading text. Now I don't need you to be Kapoor Gabor Owl. Do you want to repeat things I said? Yes or no? Like I don't necessarily need that, but I don't know. I want more characterization. I would just really like that.
If you could just do that for me,
that'd
Nintendo.
Be
That'd be great.
Now we have to wait like 3 more years, 4 more years.
And I feel like with the DLC, I feel like they are going to add something like that. I feel like that because did you ever get all the pictures for your Hyrule Compendium?
No.
Did you get the weird? Okay, do you want me to spoiler alert what you get?
Yeah.
Okay, you get all the pictures filled in your notebook, which I couldn't figure out what buying the pictures were. I had to do that because you have to take a picture of each Divine Beast boss counts as an enemy that you have to record. So if you don't take a picture of them, you can never, then you're done and you have to buy the picture.
Yeah.
Which is fine because I had rupees at that point.
Yeah.
So you fill it up and you get a photo that's it's like, it seems like it's a nudie photo is what it comes across. It's like you get a scandalous photo of a young Sheikah woman or something. It's what it is, which is weird, and you don't actually see it. It's just in your inventory.
That's a tease. That's weird.
That is a little weird.
It's weird. I don't know, but yeah, and it's in your inventory. It's on one of your little slots. Now you don't ever get to look at it. You can't take it out, but it's there.
I looked up what you get if you do give that creature thing 900 or whatever seeds.
Okay, this is almost be a spoiler for you, but go ahead.
No, I won't. I don't have to tell you, but I'll just say it's similar.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a weird thing you don't do anything with. It's like, because I killed all the Taluses, all the Hinoxes, and all the Moldolgas.
Nice.
You get a medal for each of those, but that's all it is. You just get a medal.
Yeah.
Did you get the Bokoblin mask and the Lizafal's mask?
Those were hilarious. Did you get those?
Hilarious and made things a lot easier for certain quests where you got to carry something and they're gonna try to mess with you. It makes it a lot easier.
It's like, I'm one of you, my friend.
He was an interesting character. He was interesting. I liked him with his wibbly eyes. And
the monster guy, the monster vendor,
guy.
right? Did you meet him?
What is no? I don't know.
What was the guy that runs the Fang and Bone?
Where is that?
Never
Kilton.
mind.
Kilton. His name is Kilton.
Kilton. There we go.
I don't know.
Never
Where
mind.
do you meet him?
Never mind, Glenda. We'll just.
I did the main story.
Yeah, he was a side.
I played Breath of the Wild.
Don't know what you guys play.
He was a side quest, so if you didn't do it
Okay.
the first time, you could technically do it the second time.
But the name of the store sounds familiar.
So the Fang and Bone is that traveling nighttime only shop that like sells specialized monster gear.
Okay.
And you have to find him initially in order for him to start selling stuff to you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you
Maybe I
didn't
didn't
find
see it.
him
Yeah,
at
I
first,
don't think I
then
did.
you still can.
Okay.
But you would have to replay it.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah. And he's there, and you can buy like which I was really excited about, like what is it gonna do? But like the Dark Link armor, I was so excited about. But then it didn't really do anything. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But I love looking like a badass. I will
Oh,
say
it did.
that,
Yeah, I know. It is.
Yeah.
I got that. I got all the armor. I mean, I got all the armor.
yeah.
Of course I did.
So I will say that for all the negativity that we're just airing our grievances. But
Yeah.
that being said, I'm still going to replay it. I am
Oh
still
yeah,
going to
absolutely. It was
replay
an
that
amazing
game.
game. That's what the disclaimer in the
Exactly.
beginning. It was an amazing game.
Yeah, so
Ma-
it sounds like we're really hating on it, but Zach might hate it. I don't know.
I don't hate it. I hate half of it.
Half of it.
I hate half of it.
Well, see, that was gonna be-
I would like to play it again too because I think I haven't talked about this, and because we most have been doing our criticisms. There's moments in the game which I've never experienced in other games that it offered me, which says a lot for a video game. And there's just these moments that I would have that were random, or like when I was exploring, and this, that, and the other would happen. I'd have to figure out, like, each encampment of enemies was its own sort of puzzle, which I really did like. Like the gameplay and the game as a game that's made, like a made game, is really an interesting and well-made game. Like I remember the first time when you have to light the first laboratory's blue flame. You have to go get the blue flame and bring it up there, right? Easy task. What happened to me when I was going up the hill, lighting all these little lampposts, and it started to rain. And I was like, oh, it's raining. This is the first time I'd
in the engine rain.
Yeah, this is like one of the I don't know if it was the first time I'd seen rain, but it was definitely when I had fire out. And my fire went out. I was like, oh, And so I had to figure out how to like get the fire up there while it was raining. And I remember at one point I'm waiting under a tree, and there's these two kids waiting under the tree with me. Did you guys ever meet these
Set up
kids?
No.
fire.
Well, and I was just standing there with like under this tree with my flame, and I couldn't move anywhere. And I was talking to the kids, and they're like, "Yeah, we're waiting for her to come out. I think she's like a little girl." And there's like another kid up on the side, like, "Do you see her?" And I was like, I'm having this weird bonding moment with, like, as if in real life I was stuck somewhere under the rain. I was like, I
one of
really
those
love this.
kids
Yeah,
spying on somebody.
that is way more memorable than like the Divine Beast.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's obviously I'm exaggerating, but the point I'm making is the little minute things of that game I think were done really well.
Yes,
like
they were.
the everydayness.
The first time I experienced a blood moon, I almost pooped my pants. I was just like, what is happening? I just had no idea. I was like, is there going to be a lot more of them? Are they all going to be like, because I guess I was so panicked. I wasn't really listening to what she was saying. Like, I just was seeing this imagery, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to be all big and scary. And it's going to be like, I was thinking of Silent Realm when they're after you and everything's like red and horrible, and I'm going to have to run around in this red, scary world of death and chaos. And it wasn't. They just come back to life, which is great because you need that to happen.
You need to farm. I got to go farm for parts.
Got to get those Lionel ×5 bow and arrows.
There'd be plenty of times where I'd be like climbing a cliff, and it'd be like 11:30 or 11:20, and I would see the red moon come, and like literally, my eyes would like squint. I'd be like, "Fuck," you know. I'd be like, and like I got 20 minutes, and I'm like, what am I gonna do now? You know, I'm like halfway up a cliff, my stamina's almost out. Like down low is enemies. I don't know. Like it would build these interesting sort of situations.
Have you ever been killing an enemy or like a Lionel or a mini boss, and then the blood moon happens?
Yes.
And then they just get all of their health
and
back.
You're like,
and you're like,
fuck.
And you're like, I already used my 3 best weapons.
My best friend David said he killed a Lionel way early in the game. I don't know how he did it, because at that point I was like, how did you even do that? They one-shot you. He's like, I killed it. I got the stuff. He came back to life. Like, blood moon happened, squished me. Like, didn't say, like, killed him right away.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, my gosh. So it's moments like that really make the game. Like
Yes.
that's
Just need
the
to
stuff
add
that makes it
the
great.
other part.
Exactly.
It kind of sounds like they really what they did is they were trying to make Breath of the Wild be this way more immersive and big experience, similar to more of the open world sandbox games that are fairly
Popular,
common these
yeah.
days. But and to do that, they kind of sacrificed a little bit on the character, a little bit on the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, from what I'm hearing from all three of you, is that it was still obviously
yes.
incredibly immersive,
Oh,
just in
yeah.
a completely different way than what you're used to from normal Zelda.
And technically speaking, like it's a masterpiece. Like
Yeah.
it's a masterpiece of a game.
The
There are
gameplay
just
is incredible.
things
The
that
mechanics are
The
incredible.
mechanics, it really shines. The
Yes.
mechanics do really
Yes.
shine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just
there are
really
just
miss the
parts of it-
emotional
exactly.
element.
There's
Which,
just something a little bit missing.
It would be
from
safe
it.
for me to say at temples, honestly. If they just had a temple, like a themed temple in each place, like a desert temple where I have to get keys and unlock rooms and
Yeah.
get unique enemies that are only in that
yeah.
place.
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Right.
that or that's something I missed out of, like Twilight Princess had Arbiter's Grounds. Unreal. Like all those places and the enemies that were there and those specific things. If they had that for Breath of the Wild, you would never see me again. It's the only game I would ever play. Like I would just live in that game.
But
Yeah.
I do love that Breath of the Wild took chances.
Oh my god!
A lot of people always fault Nintendo for being
for the developers for
exactly.
doing that. Like, talk about a departure from all the other Zelda games, and they were just like, you know what? We have all this money from Pokemon Go.
That's right.
I mean, obviously the game was in plans before then, but it was just the Niantic thing kind of saved them. Like Nintendo was flailing, and then they're like, now we can do this. They delayed the game, which I'm very glad that they did.
Me
It's
too.
frustrating, but clearly it was worth it. And they made something that was more of a departure than like Majora's Mask and Wind Waker combined, as far as like a departure from a Zelda game. It's standalone, and it's just not. It's an incredible game. People should play it.
I am
Awesome.
really curious to see now what the next Zelda game will look like.
Totally,
Because
right?
I
You're like,
really
what are you gonna
now
do
knowing that Breath of the Wild is like out there, it's like what's
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 next?
gonna
What are you
happen?
gonna do?
Like I just genuinely have no clue where they're gonna go from here.
Don't know
I
either.
would
know.
be
How
really
can you
interested
top
to see
this?
if they do try to go back to the more formulaic approach that the past games have
Yeah.
had. And honestly, I would not be opposed to that
No,
at all.
me neither.
And if we,
I'd
if we
welcome it.
did, and if we
Here.
did get another Breath
I'll
of the
play it.
Wild,
I love it. I know I would. Like,
yeah, it's like I'm not going to complain. I mean, we're complaining now, but I'm not going to complain.
Oh, Carol, fun.
Well,
That
I mean, I don't
it makes me happy. I don't care. Like I love it. Like I have more Zelda stuff in my house than anyone I know.
Exactly.
And I don't think necessarily that all these criticisms of everything are necessarily bad. Everybody since the games came out has been singing its praises.
Yes.
So so I think it's cool to to have another viewpoint that's not necessarily completely positive, being like it's great, but hey, there are still
it's
some
not a
things
perfect game.
that are wrong, and that's
would-
true with every game.
Yeah.
But it is still cool that we can see the game, or you three, since I haven't played it yet, can see the game for what it is, but then still be like. It has its things where I wish it were better, and I think overall I think that
But that's our job as like adult critic gamers.
Exactly. That's why we're here.
We are the industry.
We're the new voice
Yeah,
that
we're
people
the
need
new
to be
voice.
listening to.
Team Jetpack.
That's what's up about it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I will say, from all this listening,
So you
I've
guys have
done,
been talking about a lot of stuff I don't know about.
well, no, and I mean, and that's
I'm gonna
awesome.
cut you off.
I love hearing about it, and I love hearing about this
No,
game
I
because
know.
like I said, I have not played. I've dabbled in Ocarina of Time. I've dabbled in the
Like
What do you
Glenda's
mean
mad,
dabbled in Ocarina of
right?
Time?
She's mad.
I'm sorry. I'll get to them. It is in my plan to
Like
play them
Glenda,
eventually.
he says he's a collector, but then like he doesn't play them, and it's just like
They're for
okay.
looking at.
They are not to touch.
They're old enough now that you just look at them and you
look
don't
at
touch them.
You do not touch them.
But no, so
Have both cartridge editions of Ocarina of Time before they changed the music in the Fire Temple and the design on the blocks that you do in the puzzles.
oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's
You
cool.
can check that out by either playing the game or checking the serial number on the back of the cartridge. And I have both editions. So.
Nice.
Huh?
That's pretty cool.
Why'd they change the music?
You didn't hear
I-
about this?
Tell you.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I will
Glenda.
tell you. It's sort of a touchy subject right now with our current day and age, but it offended the Islamic community because the chanting that was in the Fire Temple was either too similar, or it may have even been it may have even been straight up chant. You know, when Muslims recite the Quran, they chanted. It's a form of like prayer and religious experience.
Right. Yeah.
And it was either, it wasn't, they weren't saying words, because I have it, I remember it. There was no words, it was just a chanting, but they saw it as being too similar.
I can understand that.
And then the design on the push blocks was a crescent moon and star. Now, those push blocks are available, are all throughout the game, but that was seen as like this appropriation of a religious imagery, which I have a very blanket view of religion. I grew up not quite in a cult, but close to one. So I have an opinion about religion, but that's not what we're going to discuss here.
That's
another podcast
on that. Let's just do, Teen Chat Religion episode next time.
That religion episode.
But
the religious episode.
When they re-released the game, they didn't. It was just, there was no big announcement. They just changed those two details, and I'm glad I have both, because
it's cool to have that.
Isn't this like 1998?
Yeah, so
I'm
actually
surprised
it's really interesting
a game
that it
had
was
that
long
much
ago.
like expression in the world, and that many eyes and ears were like, whoa, whoa,
are you kidding me? Oh, Ocarina of Time
was big.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, I
the world
suppose so.
freaked out, except for you.
Except for me. I was playing Mario 64. A superior game.
The games that came before that. Before Ocarina of Time, you had the Super Nintendo, right?
Right.
And you had what? You had Donkey Kong, which is one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. That was pretty 3D. Ocarina of Time was one of the most groundbreaking games that ever.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, I do understand.
For sure.
Which I wonder if that whole situation, like this happened outside of the world of social media. That happened.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just surprised it had that much legs and voice.
A lot of people wrote into Nintendo, like
letters.
Physically wrote the letters.
Yeah, letters.
Solved kind of quietly and internally. I mean, there probably were some news articles about it, but it was like they made a game, people complained, they changed it, done. It was not
because
a
nice world
there was
to live
social
in.
media. It was not
If
this.
only.
If only. Hey, sorry about that. Hey, we forgive you. We're going to change
That's cool. We're going to move on now.
And now we're going to move on to something important.
Now we're just back to like pedophilic side quests, which apparently is fine.
Let's see if
On
like
that note,
Let's send some emails. Get it changed.
Get montage.
exactly.
Oh man. Well, I will say, like I said, since I haven't been, since I haven't been, I do have this desire to play. It is getting hot in here. To play the Zelda games and everything, and to go back. I do have Ocarina of Time. I do have Skyward Sword. I'm wanting to get. Okay,
look at that eye roll.
That's a big eye roll.
Hey, come on!
I felt that.
You guys have to let him into the community, not.
I know. Don't scare me away.
What is going on
in the Zelda world?
Yeah.
And I need to be nurtured and grown into where I need to be.
Yeah, let him join.
You
need patience.
Stuff. It's you now. You're
It is on me, and I understand that, but I still need nurturing.
I need help.
But anyway, knowing nothing really of what you're saying, I'm still incredibly intrigued into this game, and I really do want to play it at some point.
And you should.
You should.
But you should play it a little faster.
I told Sam. So Sam and I were coming back from Oklahoma this weekend. From the holiday weekend, and we were talking about it, and I said, I was talking about because she was asking me, my birthday's coming up soon. She's like, "What do you want?"
You're driving,
and I was like,
"Light post lights."
I know,
Sam.
just going by. Sam,
I don't know. I see the mood.
And so she's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I mean, I kind of want to Switch, but I also still kind of waiting on a few more games with it." But then we got talking about it more, and I was like, "But Zelda's a pretty big game. That'll entertain me for a very long time." And a couple of things, and then I was like, "Nah, I think I do want the Switch now." So hopefully, stars align.
What would be your recommendation of the first Zelda game? Somebody that's never played Zelda play.
Ocarina of Time.
Is that really? That's number one. That's the first one to play.
I mean, maybe Twilight Princess. Ocarina of Time was.
So you go with the best.
Retroactively playing older games is obviously like a different experience.
Right.
Like how in depth of a gamer are they? Do they play old school games? Are they okay with those graphics?
Right.
No, see, I would want, especially from the conversation I've heard today, I would want to have a couple under my belt before I played Breath of the Wild to be able to experience Breath of the Wild.
I would not play Breath of the Wild first.
I would not start with Breath of the Wild.
No. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, before I get the Switch, like I got time to play Ocarina of Time. I've got time to play Twilight Princess and even Skyward Sword. Maybe.
Do you have Twilight Princess?
No, I do not. So I'll have to get it from.
Mine.
I'll have to get it from you.
But I do have. Like I said, I have 2 cartridges. I keep them like hermetically sealed.
I don't want to disturb that.
You can admire them.
I have
with your
Ocarina of Time.
With your eyes.
I'm sorry. sorry, the Breath of the Wild cartridge. I didn't know that we had progressed that far technology. Like,
I know. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's like
what
it's like
damn
this
hell
big,
is
like
It's
this?
tiny.
L on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And it's a game that big, and it's like really.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
used
where is
floppy
it
disks
all
in school.
in here?
I used floppy disks in school, so that I'm just saying
floppy
that
disks.
progression of technology is it just blows my mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I have a show to get to, so we should wrap this up.
Yes.
Oh my god! Oh my!
Taking the initiative.
Yeah, I like
Everybody
it.
likes that.
The host.
All right. Well, before we go, then we do have to do our wrap up of with the song contest hint for this week, given to us by Bro Mogan.
Don't let me see it. I want to be able to guess.
All right. No. No, just
Yeah, you don't get
too
to
much
guess.
collusion between
Yeah,
Bro Mogan
there's
and
something.
Mogan.
We need an FBI investigation.
All right. So here is the hint, which I have to say, we're recording this on a Wednesday today. The song contest went live at 9 a.m. for this
yeah,
episode.
and I guessed at 9.
You guessed at 9. Bro Mogan guessed at like 9:20 or whatever. 9:45 a.m. I get an email from him saying, "I'm just going to go ahead and submit my hint because I know I'm right." I know that was some balls on him.
He started his rebuttal with like, "Sorry, Zach, you're wrong."
Oh, he did? I did not see that.
He did. He got it, and he was like, "That's a good guess, Zach." Like,
But
very
it's actually-
patronizing.
Bow down, child.
But here's his hint for this
He's
week.
younger than you.
He is, I know. So that's even more embarrassing.
He should respect his elders. Here's the hint for this week. If you can guess his name, you'll get your identity back.
Ooh.
If you can guess his name, you'll get your identity back.
Glenda, do you know it?
Identity.
No, I just something teens in my memory. I'm something.
Well, think about it really hard and then submit your guess at 9 a.m. Wednesday next week.
The day
9
after
a.m.
this episode goes live, which I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun here and pull up that fun little calendar so I can get the exact day. That is going to be
June 7th.
June 7th. Ooh, you're
Boom.
good. So June 7th is when the day the episode goes live. Send us your guess at Wednesday, 9 a.m. First person to correctly guess by responding to the Facebook or Twitter posts or replying in the YouTube comments of this video first person to correctly guess will get to send us a song and hint to use for a future episode. Well, this has been a ton of great Zelda discussion. Like I said, loved it, even though I was not a big part of it. Like, this is super cool, super awesome. It was great to go so in depth into a game and to get the good comparison to the rest of the series.
Exactly.
It was awesome. And thank you, Glenda, for being on. It was awesome to have
Thank
you.
you for letting me ramble and ramble and ramble. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I love you. Smooches. Mwah, mwah.
Well, you too. I miss you so much. Come
Gross.
visit me.
Shut up, Zach.
All of you are welcome. We have a guest room, so
That's right.
Wow,
I need
there
to
you
come
go.
visit. Well, we have lived together before.
That's
see,
true.
So
That's true.
You're on that level.
I timeshare own a cat with this.
Oh,
one.
I
Yes.
didn't know that was possible. And living organisms, huh?
Living organisms. All right, Glenda. Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Glenda.
got to close, but
right.
until next time, ladies and
Oh.
gentlemen, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan,
Goodbye. Bye.
and to my left around the table, Zachary Parks.
Peace out.
And our special guest, Glenda Jordan. Thank you for joining us again.
Bye, Glenda.
Bye.
We'll see you all next time. Stick around for the song.